From watching the 1966 World Cup on black and white television as a 5-year-old youngster and celebrating as his country advanced to the final, where they would finally lose the trophy, to making his first World Cup appearance 16 years later. This is the story of one of the greatest players of all time. A player whose career began while Bobby Moore, George Best, and Johan Cruyff were still active and finished nearly a quarter-century later with Luis Figo, Thierry Henry, and Zinedine Zidane among the famous names who played with him. You could not ignore Lothar Matthäus. It all started when a 17-year-old stepped onto the field to play center midfield for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and the story would continue on for a long time. Lothar Matthäus was one of football's most versatile, renowned, and skilled players, with a career spanning decades and different positions. Born in March 1961, he made his West Germany debut in 1980 and was a member of the Euros 1980 squad. At age 23, he finished his debut season at Bayern as the top goal scorer with 16 goals. He also holds the record for most World Cup games played by any player at 25 and appeared in every tournament from 1982 to 1998. During the 1982 World Cup in Spain, Matthäus was utilized infrequently, playing the role of a bench warmer while absorbing the complete exposure and experience of playing at the top level. He knew he needed to soak up the experience so he could return later to play at the biggest stage. By 1986, he had grown into the ideal number 10. He was tasked with marking Argentine star Maradona and effortlessly played the role of marking one of the best players in the history of the sport. The match against Argentina really opened the world's eyes to Lothar's ability. "We were happy enough with the runner-up spot," the Germans said, even though they were not among the favorites to win. "We would not have believed if someone had told us before the competition that we would finish second," Matthäus told FIFA.com. It was during the 1986 tournament that he would blossom as a player, thanks to Beckenbauer's conviction in him, followed by his ability to play in many roles, and with him being one of the team's youngest members, clubs outside of Germany began to take notice of his abilities. His humility and willingness to put everything across for the team and the nation was what earned him the respect. He had voiced his ability to play multiple positions and could play everywhere on the field with his talent to back him up. In 1988, he joined Inter Milan and helped them win the league, and in 1990, he captained Germany in the World Cup in Italy. Matthäus scored twice in the first group encounter against Yugoslavia, the second of which saw him dribble from inside his own half and unleash a characteristically fearsome long-range shot into the bottom corner. The second goal embodies everything that made Lothar Matthäus so exceptional in his prime: energy, power, and unwavering determination paired with the best technique and total belief. "When he plays like that, there is no better player in the world," Franz Beckenbauer said after Germany's opening win over Yugoslavia at the 1990 World Cup. This was followed by goals against the UAE and Czechoslovakia, as well as in the semi-final shootout against England. In the final match versus Argentina, he displayed remarkable defensive intelligence by single-handedly keeping Maradona out of the game. "It was a one-of-a-kind thrill," Matthäus remarked, of winning the prize. "I was frightened of making a mistake and dropping the prize." The West Germans' victory was primarily due to Matthäus' leadership, as he came forward to bring together a team of diverse abilities and individuals, and won over the players and the fans with his attitude of always putting the team first. Matthäus seemed to control the midfield like virtually no other player before him. Opponents bounced off him as if he was armored. At the time, an Italian newspaper expressed respect. Later in his career, he switched back to sweeper and played for Germany at the 1994 World Cup in the United States. The Germans faced the challenge of having too many leaders in the team, and a manager who was a little soft when it came to putting his foot down. Germany would lose to Bulgaria in the 1994 quarterfinals, and Brazil would go on to win the World Cup. 1998 in France, Germany had little to show for their team's spirit or cohesion. It appeared to be a haphazard group of players, as there was no sign of a genuine team spirit. The Germans looked content with the results they were getting, and an old Matthäus couldn't change that. Despite dominating their group, the Germans advanced to the quarterfinals and were eliminated by Croatia, where Lothar Matthäus would play his final World Cup game for Germany. He was named German Footballer of the Year later that year, as well as collecting the 1990 Ballon d'Or and the inaugural FIFA World Player of the Year award in 1991. The elite German departed from the game in 2000, a complete legend in the game as a benchmark of longevity, the likes of whom the game will always remember.